And the guns are off.
It looks like it, yes!
That is another meet record.
And she looked fantastic.
Putting his foot on the gas here, and he is going to take the win.
Welcome back to another episode of Pending Ratification. My guest today has a laundry list of accolades that date back to her days in middle school when she set a world record in the 5,000 and most recently competed for Team USA at the World Mountain Trail Running Championships. Of course, I'm talking about Sophia Rodriguez of Mercer Island High School in Washington. In this episode, not only do we talk about her experience in Spain competing for Team USA and her goals for the rest of this cross-country season, we also talk about her interest in cooking, podcasting, what it's like to live in 6 states, and so much more in this episode. Let's tune in to this episode of Pending Ratification. Sophia Rodriguez, welcome to Pending Ratification. You've been busy lately. You were just in Spain.
Yes, sir. Yes, I was. Thank you for having me on here.
How was it? World Mountain Trail Running Championships, your first ever Team USA you got to be a part of.
Yeah, I mean, the experience was amazing. I got to be out in Spain with the best senior pro men and women, and then also an amazing U20 team. So it was just such a great time out there, and I think we all had a great experience. So it was super fun.
You have a big background in trail running too, because it sounds like, before you moved to the state of Washington, and I've talked to your sister about this as well, I didn't realize Pennsylvania was such a hilly place to run in the country. And it seems like trail running has always kind of been in your DNA. Your parents have always done it. You've done it. What is it about trail running that is so great?
Oh, I think that's definitely a really hard question. But for me, what makes trail running so great is definitely how relentless it is. You can't ever really let off the gas. I mean, definitely in the ultra marathons and everything with trail running, it's obviously a slower pace, so you kind of more chill, but it still is the equal amount of hurt, if not way, way more. So I think in trail running, the uphill is super, super hard, and then you just have to book it down and try to get off the mountain as fast as you can. So it's just really, really tough, and I think I really like the grittiness of it and how you really just cannot give up, and every step needs to count.
What was the course like in Spain?
Okay, yeah, so a lot of what the coaches were saying was almost it was a glorified cross-country course, because the previous years it'd be 27% grade for I don't know, a mile or something, so it'd be crazy.
That's this, people.
Yeah, it's actually
really steep.
You have to be almost crawling up it. But yeah, this year was pretty different, because it took almost 3 miles to get to the peak, and then it was almost 3 miles down as well. And so, but the average was only roughly 13% grade for 2.74 up. And the start of it was a 1K to the trailhead was all on road. So it was a super fast start, and all the Europeans and just foreigners, they all just know how to get a great start. So you had to be ready for that. But yeah, the course itself was beautiful. It was just in the middle of this valley in Spain, and we actually started pretty early in the morning, and the sun was not up, so in the woods it was really dark. But
That's
yeah,
cool.
It was a great course. It wasn't too technical at all. And yeah, it had a good mixture of speed, but then also some really good climbs.
Yeah. It was you, Ruby Immels. Who else was on that U20 team?
Yeah, Ruby Immels, and then Abby Stone, and then Sierra Wall. So Abby Stone, she is at Utah Valley, and then Sierra Wall is at Mines. And
what was, that, being part of that team? What was it like, working with those ladies and, representing Team USA? I mean, there's a sense of pride when you put on that kit and it says USA on it, and because not only are you representing yourself, you're representing an entire country.
Yeah, for sure. I think, you hear all the pros and everyone talk about whenever you put on that race kit for Team USA across your chest, it's no feeling ever compares to it. And I think everyone says it perfectly. It's just such a unique feeling. And I think, whenever it's those major races, in a different country, representing Team USA is so special, because you came all the way out here to show up and to give it your best and, honor your country. And so I think it is such a privilege, and definitely working with the girls. We had a great group of girls this year, and every year for last year when I was on it as well for U18, just the girls that they select are just top notch, and they're great people and great runners as well. But yeah, this year was definitely unique in the sense that we weren't all high schoolers, and we had 2 like sophomores in college. So hearing like their stories and experiences was like really, I guess, like enlightening and like helped me like kind of realize a lot of things. But just to bond with them over silly little things and spend a lot of time with them was really, really fun.
Well, you're back in the United States now. You're gearing up for your 3rd Washington State Championships at the Sun Willows Golf Course in Pasco, which, by the way, you broke the all-time course record in Pasco last year, surpassing Alexa Ephraimson, which is a pretty big name to beat in that regard. But, what's it like being adjusted back to, to the high school scene, especially, having competed on a world championship stage? I mean, this is 2 different environments we're talking about right now.
Yeah, I think having like the championship race definitely gave like a nice little break, just knowing that we hopefully have like a super long season into December. But it is very different because, I mean, you're running with girls from across the whole world, so you don't really like have any expectations. But coming back to like Washington and the States, you kind of know everyone's PRs, know what they've done throughout their whole season. So I guess just like focusing more on yourself and I guess the race and just honing into, the competition, but also just playing it like the race that you're at. Are
you excited to get back to more of a golf course type of racing compared to trails? Because again, totally different environment.
Yeah, I do really like the golf course and the short grass and the spike feeling, but for me personally, I don't think anything could top trail running. But I do really enjoy the golf courses, and Sun Willows is an amazing, beautiful course.
I've been there many times in my time, having covered the Washington State meet, and it is a fun day in Pasco. So if those that are in the Tri-Cities, November 8th, I believe, head over to the Pasco Sun Willows Golf Course to watch Sophia and Mercer Island compete there. But what's different for you is you are by yourself in the household this year. Not entirely, obviously your parents are there, but your sister's off to school right now at Wake Forest. So, how's that been adjusting, from a life perspective, going to school? I assume your sister drove you to school, so now you're having to drive yourself to school.
Yeah, the last part's like a sticky subject, but my middle sister, she is at Wake Forest and she's enjoying it. I mean, it was her dream school, so she's just loving every single second of it. But actually, I got pretty lucky this year because my oldest sister, which not many people know I have an older sister, but I do have an older sister, and she actually is here with us this year. So she's actually been driving me to school and everything.
Oh.
But yeah, so we're missing one sister, but have the other one back, which is super nice.
Is this a situation where you don't have your driver license yet?
Yeah, so in like Washington, you can get your license when you're 16, but I just turned 17 and I still don't have my permit yet. So it's just because like whenever we moved here, we didn't really know the rules and everything. So I got kind of behind, and then the system and how to get your license is kind of skewed, and like it's not a good system. But me personally, that's my opinion, but it's not a good system, and it's kind of just like a lot of money and time that's wasted, and a lot of the drivers here aren't the best. But yeah, so I
can confirm with that, having been having lived in the state of Washington for my entire life.
Yeah, they're on the top, but yeah, and so I haven't got my permit yet, but I'm working on it, so it's coming soon.
This is kind of like a Quincy Wilson situation where he didn't have his license or driver's permit before winning a gold medal. Now, granted, you haven't won a gold medal yet, but
gold ticket before.
Well, hopefully soon in the world trail running championships, we can see that soon.
Yes,
but
near future.
So outside of running, and I found this interesting, and the fact that we're doing a podcast right now, you have your own podcast as well as part of the school program at Mercer Island. Tell me a little bit more about that and what got you involved with not only just the school's radio system, but just the fact that you want to interview people and have an interest in people's life stories.
Yeah, I think growing up, I've always been pretty curious in like other individuals, and I guess a lot of it has been like surrounded by running and like my parents' work or my dad's work specifically. Just always like wondering how somebody got to like a position of where they are. Like, how'd you get to be interviewing high school athletes, and just like I'm very curious in like that aspect of who the person is and like what got them there and why. But yeah, whenever we moved out here, I had no idea about radio. Like the only thing I knew was obviously listening to the radio station, driving in a car, but I had no idea how anything operated. And then out here, my high school is like known for the radio station. We actually got claimed for like #1 station in the whole nation is like our slogan. So we have a lot of credibility, and I was like, you know what, instead of doing an art class like ceramics or painting and drawing, I'll just like test out the radio program. And so freshman year I did that, and then got really interested in it, and then wanted to pursue a podcast or two. And so yeah, that's how I ended up.
So the first podcast that you had your freshman and sophomore year was with one of your close classmates, and it was called C'est la vie, which in French, I'm already forgetting what that means.
It means that is life.
That is life. You guys talked about life, just high school stuff, outside of high school, just life in general. Like what kind of topics would there be in this type of podcast?
Yeah, so a lot of it would kind of be like reminiscing on like, I guess, childhood and how that's kind of like not affected us in high school years, but kind of like a lot of background things. But then also a lot of it would just be kind of, I guess, like random topics of just all over the spectrum. But my one good friend that I did it with, she actually was a really good basketball player, or is a really good basketball player. So a lot of it would be like centered around like sports in a sense, and we kind of compare and contrast the two, but have some similarities like mindset and like work ethic and everything. But yeah, I'd say like a lot of it was kind of just like dissecting life, and guess like sharing a lot of stories and like how that is going to affect us in the future. And a lot of it was like past, present, future, but just always like fun topics that we kept light. Myself
being a basketball player, and I ran in high school as well, I'm curious to kind of get your take on, you know, what would be the comparison to a low stick runner to a basketball player? What do you think their role would be on the basketball court?
Either a shooter, or I mean, a point guard's like pretty good. But
that's what I'm like, kind of thinking too, being the floor general of the team. And I mean, not necessarily that the low stick is the floor general of the team, but you know, that's someone that always maybe the low stick is the person that scores all the time, as you said, is a shooting guard. Or, you know, in the case of like the fifth man, that's the sixth man on the bench of a basketball team. So that's something I would be definitely curious to, you know, have a conversation about with somebody, especially that's in basketball.
Yeah. And then, it'd be just like random stuff like that, where it's like, we'd have a unique like idea or something, and we just like, I'm trying to remember some more topics, but I guess like, it was just like a bunch of just like kind of fun, random things that we like were like excited to talk about.
Outside of sports, what else would you guys talk about?
A lot of it was school focused.
Okay.
But also just like family and friends, and a lot of it was kind of, I guess, like trends too. We talked about like fashion a good bit, and like mindset, and kind of just school in general and how like the system works. And our school has like a phone rule, so we talk about that. And it's like,
what's the phone rule?
So our school invested in like these yonder pouches, and so it's like the size of a phone, but then the top like clasps shut, and it's like a magnet, so you cannot open it. And so it's like a needle that goes through the magnet.
Oh wait, I've heard of this.
A yonder pouch, yeah.
I've heard this because one, they don't want you texting or doing anything on your phone in class, so you have to basically give them your phone for the day.
Yes, yeah.
And that is cruelty. I'm sorry, that's awful. I never had that. If we texted in class, our phone got taken away.
Yeah,
rightfully so. You shouldn't be doing that. But we never had it like taken away for the entire day.
Well, yeah, because it was like it got implemented last year, and so last year they're like super strict on it, where it's like it had to be like in the pouch, and like the dean of students, he'd like randomly like maybe like once or twice a week, he'd like do random phone checks. So you just go into a classroom and be like, take out your yonder pouch, and like everyone would like have to take it out. But majority of the kids like got smart and would just put like a calculator in there or like something else. And so, but this year it's just like,
who carries calculators these days? I'm sorry, who carries calculators?
All the students do.
Is this what they do at Mercer Island? I mean, I've never been to the high school myself. I've driven many times through Mercer Island, but
I mean, Yeah, a lot of the kids are really academic, so they will have a lot of calculators on them, graphing calculators, regular.
So what was so in this podcast episode you had, what was the verdict on it?
A lot of it, well, because I feel like it definitely, for some kids, they needed it because, like, they were, like, actually addicted to their phone. So, like, a lot of times, like, the kids, like, would benefit from it and, like, do better in class. But then for, like, the students who, like, weren't on their phone, like, it was just, like, this is kind of, like, ignorant because, like, I'm not on my phone, so it's already in my backpack. Like, I'm used to this. Like, why do I need to do this in a sense? But it kind of made, like, another issue that we talked about because a bunch of kids would feel like they like neglected their phone throughout the day, and then like they go home and then they just like scroll or like be on their phone so much, and so like they felt like there was like a connection, and so then like
they're forcing you to have facial interaction.
Yeah, that was like their main like targeting point was like we want the
actually
students
have face-to-face conversations with people. I know it's a weird thing and people don't do it anymore, but it really happens.
Yeah, that was their slogan for sure. Yeah. But now it's just like you can't have your phone. Like if a teacher sees your phone, like they'll probably take it, but a lot of times just like put it away.
Like I said, I never had that when I was in high school. And gosh, that was 8 years ago when I graduated high school.
Did you even have phones in high school?
But you have moved on from this podcast because your friend either graduated or has she gone on to a different school or?
Yeah, she just moved to a different school.
All right. So she just moved, but you started a new podcast this year and it's revolved around running. Who are some of the guests that you've had on?
Yeah, so freshman year I kind of interviewed a few guests for my podcast, and I didn't actually like make the running podcast official until my sophomore year. But funny enough, I had my dad on it because one of the first assignments freshman year was like a career spotlight, and you can like interview family. So I went the safe route. And then I've had Julie Benson on it to talk about like eating disorder culture in running, especially in like distance female athletes. And then I had Dr. Margaret Otley, who is a sports psychiatrist, and she works with Nike Elite a lot, but she has been on, she's been on like so many Olympic teams for not only running, but for like gymnastics, field hockey, and not only for the U.S., but also for Trinidad and Tobago. And so she's just like a super amazing person. All those people like I like heavily look up to, and so I really wanted to interview all of them. But
is there somebody that you haven't interviewed that you do want to?
I definitely want to interview Paul Limmer, who he is a mentor at Nike Elite, but he actually has a movie about him. It's called like The Fifth Man, I think. But he does so much with like the sport of running and like the armory, and he's just been a legend in the sport and been through it for so many years now. So probably him is like the next person I'd want to interview.
Rephrase my question again. Outside of Nike Elite, who would you want to? Who is the one person out there you would want to interview?
Outside of running, or just like?
Honestly, it could be anybody. Let's just put it that way. It could be anybody out there.
Interview.
Taylor Swift. Tough. Jojo Siwa. I'm just thinking of very pop culture names. I don't.
Maybe Eddie Vedder. Wait, I'm probably gonna butcher his name, but the Pearl Jam lead singer.
Okay, you are officially now a true Washingtonian, having mentioned Pearl Jam.
Yeah, probably him though.
That's a really good. And I'm laughing at that because you've lived in 6 different states, which we will get to that momentarily. But I'm impressed. You got your Seattle music history down there.
Yeah, it's actually before I moved to Washington, I listened to them. So, but they are huge here. Like everyone knows them, and like back in Pennsylvania, people be like,
hey, they had the Vedder Cup, which really did not make any sense since Eddie Vedder is a Chicago Cubs fan, and yet it was between the Padres and the Mariners.
Maybe you should be on the podcast if I interview him.
Sure.
The Mariners did not have a good 7th game.
That don't even get me started on that conversation. We're going to move on from that before we make me really sad. But speaking of which, as I said, you've lived in 6 states. You were born in Texas, but you lived in Florida, Georgia, Maryland, Pennsylvania, and now, of course, Washington. How long were you in Texas for since you were born there?
Yeah, so before I was born there, like we lived there a good bit, but
before you were born there, you were born somewhere else.
Yeah, because my mom like wanted all my sisters and I to be born in Texas, but we lived there for maybe like 3 to 4. Yeah, at like 3 to 4 years after I was born.
And so then what was kind of the order of states that you went to? Because these
Yeah,
are like
so-
these are all, it seems like south, a little up towards the northeast, and then all the way to the west coast.
Yeah, so Texas, and then Florida, and then Georgia, and then from Georgia to Maryland, and then Pennsylvania, and then now Washington. And a lot of
Go ahead.
sorry. Well, because like my dad's side of the family is from Miami, and so we live there, and then my mom's side is from Texas, so we live there, and then Georgia I think was for my dad's job, and then Maryland and Pennsylvania was job related, and then Washington was also job related.
Which one do you miss the most, or have like a vivid memory of like living there and be like, yeah, I kind of wish I was there still?
Oh, I mean, I do have like a soft spot definitely for just Texas and Florida, just because like both my family live there, and we visit a lot, and just having family around is so special and just unique, and so many like memories are made. But since we visit there like quite frequently, it's like I can always like go back. But definitely the East Coast, Maryland is a beautiful state, and I love it so much. But in Georgia, I actually had a lot of like unique memories, because like I was pretty young, but my parents were working, and so a lot of my memories like with my sister, and like we had like a babysitter, but we have like some crazy stories with her, and so a lot of them like looking back are funny, but in the moment like weren't like so funny. But then definitely I miss Pennsylvania a lot, just because we lived there the longest, and all my best friends are still back at home, and yeah, so Pennsylvania is definitely, and it's a beautiful
It's also where
state.
you set your first world record too.
Yeah, so yeah.
Was in Pennsylvania when you were at Dallas Town still. You still have you think about back to those types of moments, and it's like, gosh, it seems like forever ago.
Yeah, it actually does, because like I don't know who I was talking to, but they're like, you're a junior, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm a junior, like that 3 years ago was like freshman year. So yeah, definitely I feel kind of old.
Stop that. I'm older.
Yeah, no, but
feel-
Henderson.
I was gonna say, if you say you feel old, that makes me ancient.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I remember the first time that you and I ever met, I believe, was at the Nike Elite Camp, and that was your freshman year.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
I'm trying to, I had heard about, obviously the accomplishments in Pennsylvania, and then I heard the fact that you're coming to Washington, and I'm like, wow, okay, so we're getting someone really good here in the state of Washington. And now all of a sudden we're talking about, breaking Alexa Ephraimson's course records, state records, 3 years since you've been in the state of Washington. And I mean, actually not even that, 2.5 years since we haven't even completed this third year yet. But if you had to rank from favorite to not so favorite states, what's the order?
Okay. Not so favorite. It's gonna go Georgia. Actually, okay, I'm gonna get a lot of like backlash for this, but
If you say Washington, I'm gonna be very upset.
Oh, okay, so Georgia, Washington. It's a beautiful state. I think just my experience is very unique.
Nope, just keep going with the list already.
Okay, Georgia, Washington, probably Maryland, and then Pennsylvania, and then like Texas and Florida are tied.
I threw you a softball question, and it was a swing and a miss.
Yeah, you thought I was going to say
You had one chance to put Washington on the top of the list, and then everything else could have been fine at the bottom.
That was the answer you expected.
That's the answer I wish.
I've gotten that a lot, because I mean it's a beautiful state, and granted I haven't like explored a lot of it. Like I haven't been to a lot of like the parks or the mountains and everything, so I think I need to do a little more of that. But yeah, so far it's kind of a little.
Well, have you been to Spokane?
Yes, I have.
That's where the Northwest region is this year.
NXR, yes, at the polo fields.
Yes, I have been to the polo fields. It's a very, very flat course. There's going to be some very fast times.
Ellery Lincoln, she ran at it, and we're close friends, and so I kind of got the scoop on how her race was.
Yeah, it's, from my knowledge at least, it's going to be a lot of laps, and it's going to be a very, very flat course. So be prepared for something totally different than what you had in Boise the last couple of years. Yeah. The next topic I do want to talk about, though, is you love cooking. Like when it comes to big feasts, meals, you're all in. Like you're working all day, especially during Thanksgiving. What do you feel like that's probably one of the busiest days of the year for you when it comes to the cooking piece?
Oh yeah, for sure. Definitely Thanksgiving. If not, then like the 4th of July.
All right. So, okay. So I'll ask you about the 4th of July, but like, so what does the Thanksgiving feast look like?
Mm-hmm.
What are we prepping?
Okay. So obviously on Thanksgiving Day, have to get the run early in the morning out. And then, yeah, so we start with like appetizers, and we'll normally have like 4 to 5 appetizers. Like some examples are like goat cheese stuffed dates that like wrapped in bacon with like a rosemary honey glaze, and then like a lot of bread, I would say, so like garlic bread, or like a focaccia, focaccia, and then a soup is always great for an appetizer, like something light but very yummy, so like a butternut squash. And then for like the main meals, my dad like does like all the like the meat and everything, so I kind of like stick to the sides. But for Thanksgiving, you have to have stuffing and corn. Those like I don't really like. One year I made homemade stuffing, but my sister like kind of complained and was like, "I want the box stuffing."
Which sister complained?
My oldest sister.
Okay, Madeline, you're already kicked out of the house.
No, yeah, Victoria's a really picky eater, but yeah, Madeline loves the box stuffing, and I can't really complain. It is just very good. But yeah, and then mashed potatoes. My mom makes like the best mashed potatoes, so we'll leave that to her. But then I make like homemade rolls, and then homemade mac and cheese, and then for dessert, like one year I made like a pecan pie from scratch and an apple pie. And so like those two, and then recently we've been doing like just cookies or kind of like easier desserts, just because the main meals and everything like take a lot of prep and a lot of dishes, and like oven space. But
I'm ready for Thanksgiving already after having this conversation.
Yeah.
Most families, I mean, my family's pretty typical when it comes to the Thanksgiving meal. You got your turkey, you got your stuffing, rolls, green bean casserole. Is there a unique dish or part of the meal that you guys make that you wouldn't necessarily see at another Thanksgiving?
Yeah, I think like the main one, unless we're with like family, but the last like past 2 years, it's kind of just been like immediate family. But unless we're like going down Texas or Florida, instead of turkey, since my dad like isn't the best at making turkey, and in Florida, like my uncle deep fries it, so it's like unbeatable, and
that's
so
very
we can't
scary
really,
to do
compare
that.
to that. But it's very scary. Yeah, like all the kid, like we all have to like go inside, and then like he's just outside with like my uncles, and they have like gloves and crazy protection, but it's worth it for sure.
And make sure that nothing explodes. But okay,
Yeah.
So then instead of the turkey, what is the surprise meal that you would have then?
Yeah, we'll either have like duck or like pork.
And what is compared to a turkey? Are those better? Are those worse? What do you prefer?
I really prefer duck. I don't know. It's like it's kind of like a little more gamey, but I think like it's really good. And there's like a special like sauce that my dad does with it, and so like it's like this like almost like maroon sauce. But yeah, I really like duck a lot. So
is there going to be something new this year for this year's Thanksgiving?
Oh yes, we're instead of like a butternut squash soup, we're gonna do broccoli cheddar.
Ooh.
So that one was Madeline's input.
So you're saying Madeline doesn't like broccoli cheddar soup either?
No, she loves broccoli cheddar. That's why we're gonna do it. But
okay, gotcha. It's Victoria that doesn't like necessarily a lot of foods?
Victoria's play on Thanksgiving is meat and rolls and butter, and that's it.
What's yours?
Spread of like everything. Yeah. But we'll also like do like a salad too. So like that's always like has to be there as well. But mainly like mashed potatoes and gravy is where my heart is.
It's a good time to be at the Rodriguez household for Thanksgiving because it sounds like it's a really, really good feast that you guys have. You mentioned 4th of July. Is it hot dogs? Are we talking barbecue? Like brisket, ribs? What are we talking here?
Yeah, full barbecue. My dad loves to barbecue, so he'll do burgers and hot dogs, a classic 4th of July. And then I'll make like a summer salad where it's like corn, like black beans, maybe some like other beans, and then like tomatoes and like lime.
So before you kind of, dived into the world of running, you had a big passion for soccer and actually had a really cool opportunity to not only go to one World Cup, but two of them. I believe the most recent one was, at least the one that held in the North America, was in Canada, right? The Women's World Cup?
Yes, yeah, Canada, back in
that was Vancouver. And actually, I recall that final because Vancouver is like an hour away from my hometown in Washington. So I remember when the U.S. played, I believe it was Japan in that final.
Yes.
But aside from me talking about myself and that, but tell me about your experiences at the World Cup and what those were like.
Yeah, so our parents kind of made a bet with us, being like, if all three of you guys like are still playing soccer, then every year we'd like go to the World Cup. And like I think the bet was that at least like one of us still had to be playing soccer. But yeah, so we went to the one in Canada, and then I think that was like 2015, and then 2018 or like around that time, we went to France for the other World Cup. And France I had like more vivid memories, but it is just like insane because there's all these fans from around the world, but US has like a really strong soccer fan and like just supporters out there. And for the Women's World Cup, because in my opinion, I think like the women's soccer team for USA is stronger than the men's.
That's clearly obvious when they've won the World Cup that the men's team has.
Yeah. And so yeah, just the support and like how many people show up to the World Cups are just amazing, and like all the USA fans are just so much fun. Everyone brings so much spirit, so it's super, super cool.
Well, I know you're not playing soccer anymore, but the World Cup is coming to the United States this next year in 2026. So I assume you're going to try to go to a couple of the men's World Cup games?
Yeah, I think we will because there's definitely a few matches here in Seattle, and so I think we're trying to get some tickets, but everything's like already starting to sell out so quick. So we'll try to see, hopefully, but yeah, we'll try to.
Well, and Seattle has become a soccer town within the last decade or so since the Sounders have reemerged back in Seattle. Gosh, I think the Sounders have won like maybe 2 MLS Cups. So I mean, it's a big deal, at least in the city of Seattle. I also know, I think they're going to have a game in Pennsylvania as well.
Oh, no.
If I'm mistaken or not. So if you have an excuse to want to go back to Pennsylvania and go see some people, I think they're going to have the one of the World Cup matches at Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia. So that's also another option as well. Another cool thing kind of involved with soccer is you've had a chance to actually walk out onto the pitch with one of the best premier teams in the entire world, in the Tottenham Hotspurs. How did that opportunity come about?
Yeah, so before my dad was at Brooks, he actually worked for Under Armour, and like whenever he was starting out for Under Armour, he worked for making jerseys or like kits for the Tottenham Hotspurs, and then I think for like a few other like teams and countries and stuff, but. Yeah, I don't even know how really like the opportunity came, but we were just there. I don't even know where the actual game was played, but yeah, I just remember like being in the tunnel, and then like I'm standing next to this guy who, like, granted I'm like 5 years old, maybe 6 years old, and so I'm like tiny, and then there's like this massive. I was like with. Oh, one of my sisters was with, like, the keeper, so he was, like, insanely tall, but we were just, like, standing there, and then, yeah, we got to walk out. So it was definitely, like, all my dad's doing, but it was a super, like, cool opportunity, like, looking back on it.
I got to imagine, being 5 years old, you have no idea what is happening. You're just going out onto a soccer pitch, and people are cheering. Was it here in the United States, or was it over there?
No, I definitely was here, I'm pretty sure, yeah. But I remember he, like, would always have to go to, like, London and so many trips, like, definitely there's, like, in Europe and everything. But I do think it was here.
Yeah. So as a, a soccer fan, is there a team you follow pretty closely?
We've kind of, like, fallen off of it a bit just because we don't play soccer anymore. But we do still keep up with, like, the women's national team. And then huge, like, Tottenham supporters, I would say. But yeah,
well,
we kind of just, like,
especially if you're walking out onto the pitch with the team.
Yeah, and we like one of, like, the artifacts that I guess like the not artifacts, but like one of the like the souvenirs that the kids got to take was like the players like all signed the jerseys. So we have like just 3 signed, and like back in like 2015, there was like some like the prime like soccer players, so it's like super super cool. But yeah, we try to follow like the like Tottenham a bit, and then the women's national team.
Have you ever gotten to experience a soccer game over in Europe?
Other than the Women's World Cup in France, that's the only time that I've been able to go.
Yeah, I got to go to Europe this last summer, and I wish I had a chance to go watch a soccer match over there.
Yeah.
I was actually in London. I would have loved to have gone to see a match there, but unfortunately it was not in season. But that's definitely on my bucket list of items. As a huge avid sports fan, I would love to go watch European football and go and experience that.
And I know, and like I used to be like a huge like Messi fan, so like Argentina and Barcelona. So we try to keep up with them.
He's
a bit.
playing
like,
for Miami.
I know he is,
and you like Florida.
Yeah, my cousins actually, because one of my cousin who lives down there, my other cousin actually runs for Belen with Marcelo, but my cousin, her name's Sienna, and she still plays soccer, and they actually saw Messi like playing at like one of their like local soccer pitches, and like my aunt like got a picture of him just like standing there, so it was like crazy.
So not only can you go see family, you can go watch Messi play for what is it? I think FC Miami. I think that's what the team
Miami,
is. God, that would be such a cool opportunity if you're able to do that. But kind of talking about, obviously this life stuff. I want to circle back to the running piece because, of course, that is a huge part of your life. And one of the big things that, kind of what you thought was kind of your breakthrough moment was your 8th grade year when you were still living in Pennsylvania, going to Dallastown. And you had an opportunity to go to NXR Northeast. However, you didn't race in the championship race. You unfortunately had to settle for maybe like the Varsity 1 section race or whatever they call it. Tell me a little bit more about that, because it seemed like it was a little conflicting because 8th graders, at least according to the state of Pennsylvania, were not allowed to compete in that championship style of racing.
Yeah, so going into it, I think it was like, I definitely knew that I wasn't going to be in the championship race, and it definitely was like a huge bummer just because like that I had a really good 8th grade cross country season for middle school, and so I was super excited towards the end of the season just to like kind of see what I could do and with all the winter training. But it was actually super funny because the week of the Northeast regional meet, for when I ran it, it was the week of Thanksgiving, and so the day before the regional meet was actually Thanksgiving, and I remember like
did you meal prep for that as well?
Yeah, well, because my dad, we got like a super nice like Airbnb like on this lake, but it was like I think like an hour and a half or 2 hours away from the actual meet, but it was definitely worth it. But my whole family was there, like both my sisters, and then my sister's boyfriend was also there, and so we all were just like staying in this like beautiful Airbnb, and then it kind of did suck just not having a nice Thanksgiving, but it was, I remember like being pretty nervous for the race, just not knowing what to expect or anything, but I was just super super excited, and I would say I was very angry and mad, just not being in the championship race, but I think the way I raced it and how everything played out, like it definitely, being mad like helped me in a lot of ways. So
yeah, and it's really catapulted your career to greater heights. Not to mention the fact that you are also a world record holder, which I'm kind of surprised that you wouldn't consider that as your breakthrough moment. But having been in that situation where you were told you could not compete in a certain race because of your age, that seemed like that really kind of lit a fire underneath you. It's like, you know what? I'm going to go be the best version of Sophia, and hopefully, that motivates me for future races, future stuff in the high school. I think it certainly has. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, for sure. I think you definitely put in perfect words, like just trying to be the best version of myself and pushing my body on any given day and seeing how far it's going to take me. And, I remember specifically in that race, like I just wanted to win and kind of just like, I guess like show them that I should have been in the championship race, even though I wasn't. But, yeah, I think just, giving it your all every single day and definitely being the best version is anything and like the thing that you can control the most. So it's definitely a really nice thing to focus on.
You're also someone that, I guess has had to handle pressure as well. I mean, there's always been these expectations, especially since you have set a world record. How have you handled that type of pressure and, being able to not overstress, not overcomplicate things? Because that's a lot to have, especially someone that, is still in high school, has all these accomplishments so far, but I mean, it can be toxic sometimes for having to deal with that type of pressure.
Yeah, I think when it comes in terms of like pressure, I think in the beginning of like early stages where I set like one world record back in the Armory 8th grade year, and then another one in the 8th grade year in outdoor season in the 5K. I think in the beginning I didn't think about it because I was just like, I'm just running and like you said, like being me. But yeah, now I think a lot of the pressure is kind of more internally and the pressure that I kind of put on myself in a sense. I don't think a lot of it is like outside people or outside influence. I think a lot of it is my own expectations, but which is like not the best just because a lot of it is like just the mind and everything. But yeah, I think when it comes to pressure, I think having a great support system, like my family, my parents, both my sisters, where I can just talk through everything. And if I am like feeling a certain way or kind of just like overthinking a lot as I do, then I can always turn to them to talk to them. And then as well as like Nike Elite, I know I've mentioned them a few times, but always knowing that big of a support group and those amazing people and mentors will always have my back, and I can always just reach out. I think that's benefited me so much in terms of my expectations and what I want to accomplish, but then also like taking a step back because all those support groups just let me see the perspective and like get me outside of my own head.
You've also, at least from a Mercer Island perspective, you've had two mentors, one of course being your sister and then Owen Powell. Both have won national or have gone on to accomplish so much. Your sister won a national title. Owen's the high school national record holder in the mile. What have you learned from them kind of just being under their wings the last 2 years that you kind of want to see for yourself, not only this junior year, but the senior year? Because I'm sure you have some big goals for yourself going into the rest of your high school career. Yeah,
for sure. I think definitely with my sister, it's a huge adjustment because even just in workouts and just on the day of practice, like a lot of times during workouts, I like notice myself taking it a little too seriously, where she was always there to like kind of crack a smile out of me and just like make me laugh, which normally doesn't happen in a workout. So she definitely like pulled me out of, I guess, like me kind of focusing a little too much sometimes, and so definitely noticing her not being there on workouts and even just like there running with me, it's like a huge difference, but her presence like definitely shifts a lot of things. And I think one thing from her is like, and she'll always say, is just like to have fun in the sport, and I have a lot of fun in it and I love it with a burning passion, but she definitely like knows how to take a step back and still work hard and put in everything she needs to put in, but have a little more like, I guess, like, lighten the mood when when it's, like, a serious time, whereas, like, I'm just, like, dialed and kind of go mute. But, yeah, she definitely is just a great inspiration on just how to work hard, but then also have so much fun with it day in and day out. And then, as for Owen, he's just such a hard worker, and he's going to show up to every practice and give it his all, and then along with that, like, have so much fun. And he's a really great team guy, so bringing everyone into the team and just getting everyone super hyped for the season and their own races as well is something that, I take away.
This Mercer Island team has a chance to repeat as state champions, which I believe they won their first state title on the girls' side in, 40 years or something like that?
It was back in 2008.
Okay, 2008.
Yeah.
So I think I was thinking of the boys that had not won
the boys.
a state title. It's been a long time for the boys. But that being said, Victoria's obviously gone, doing her thing now at Wake Forest. You're leading this team now. What are the expectations when you guys go to Pasco this weekend? I think the first thing, of course, try to repeat as state champions. But for you individually, I mean, let's see if we can try to lower your state course record down. Let's see, can we get under 1640? Hey, can we get close to 1630?
Yeah, for sure. For the team aspect, we're just trying to go, and I think definitely for the guys' side, they're going to look to repeat their state title. And then for the girls' side, because last year we only won by a point, which was like so exciting. But we do look to defend the title again. And I think like the mindset going into it is just everyone give their best effort and like always think about the team, always look to the next person, know the jersey of, Blanchette or Seattle Prep, and just always like looking up and trying to get those girls because every point does matter. And then as for an individual standpoint, I think, like you said, just I'm going to run my own race and definitely try to lower the record. And if a great time comes out of it, then that's amazing. If it's 1 second faster, then that's amazing. And if it's nothing, then I know at least I'm looking to get the win. So the win is definitely the most important thing. But then if the time can come, then that's just
in the big picture. We're talking Nike Cross Nationals, especially after last year when you finished top 10, earning All-American honors for the very first time. What is your hope to kind of take that next step this year? You haven't had a ton of high school races this year because of course you were competing in Spain. So, has training been different in the sense like, you've been saving some stuff for, later down this season to, hopefully, set yourself up for a good time in Portland?
Yeah, I think like you noticing that is like very important because we haven't had that many invites at all. We had the Mook in the beginning of the season, and then we had John Payne, and that was like basically it. So, it definitely is a unique season because compared to last year, I felt like we were racing like almost every weekend. But, this year we definitely are, I think, training a lot more and saving those huge efforts for like important races. And we definitely, because for like counties and districts, we're kind of still training through it all. So this past Saturday, just trained through it, and then this Saturday, just trained through it, but still giving like hard efforts. And then states is definitely going to be a really hard effort and good competition. But then, like you said, we're not trying to pop anything crazy until NXR, but then definitely NXN, and then now Brooks Foot Locker.
What's the ultimate goal at Nike Cross Nationals?
There's definitely like some super like, I guess, high goals that everyone kind of envisions, but I have some like beef with last year's NXN race. I
think a lot of people did.
Oh, sorry, what?
I think a lot of people had beef with last year's NXN race.
Yeah, but definitely just try to do way better than last year, and I know that I'm way fitter than last year, so just trusting myself and then doing all the preparation before the race, and hopefully everything will piece together on the day. But definitely some high placement goals, and just try to run as best I can and compete really, really well.
Well, of course, as I said, you guys can watch Sophia race at the Washington State Championships on November 8th, and then a week from that, she'll be in Spokane for the Nike Cross Regional Northwest, looking to see if she can punch her second consecutive ticket to Nike Cross Nationals. As we wrap up this episode of Pending Ratification, of course, everyone wonders, why pending ratification? What does that mean? Well, if you set a world record or set a record of any kind, you have to go through a ratifying process. And so pending means you have to wait. Ratifying means, it has to be, adjourned or, checked off saying like, all right, yeah, it's passed. So, and for all my guests that I've asked so far, non-running related, what is a world record that Sophia Rodriguez would want to set in?
Okay. I've been thinking about this question. I think I guess because a lot of people have answered like a food category. And I'd say
it literally be anything.
I think like a really cool like Red Bull record. Something like crazy that like Red Bull puts on. Like I don't know if they have like crazy stuff.
Okay. Red Bull. Are we talking like, are we drinking the energy drink, or are we what are we talking here?
Like, well, because like Red Bull is known to have like some just insane videos where like the people are like on the side of a cliff like riding a bike, or like the tallest like skateboarding down a ramp or something. So maybe like a Red Bull ratified record. Or, like, I don't know, I'm trying to think.
Gotta be specific here.
Maybe, like, the tallest, like, skydiving or something.
So you like heights?
Yeah, probably that. Or, I kind of want to, well, this is, like, all hypothetical, but Joey Chestnut hot dog eating competition.
Hey, listen, Marcelo said he can eat the most amount of donuts in a minute. That's his world record. Like,
Okay.
what would be the one food that you think you could try to eat the most in a minute?
Probably like watermelon.
Okay. Like a whole watermelon?
In a minute?
Like, could you eat an entire watermelon in a minute? Or how fast do you think you can eat an entire watermelon?
If I was like really going at it, probably like 2.5 minutes. 30 minutes.
Really? Like the
Maybe.
giant watermelon? Not like the small watermelon, like a giant one.
Like, yeah, like a good size watermelon from the grocery store.
I told Marcelo I would pay to watch him eat all those donuts.
Maybe
That would be definitely interesting to see if you can do
Is
that.
this like a trick question where like at the end of the season you're just like gonna get all of us together and have like each of us try to do our world record?
Well, little did you know at Nike Cross Nationals, we're going to get you guys together for all of your... No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
I was
again,
teasing with Marcelo that I would bring a box of Krispy Kreme donuts for him waiting at the finish line. So, hey, maybe there might be a watermelon for you at the finish line when you're done with your race. And be like, hey, I know you just ran really fast, but I need you to eat this watermelon as fast as you can.
Maybe that would make Marcelo run faster.
Who knows? I just love asking these questions because I'm always going to get unique answers, and this was definitely one of those answers that was unique. So, Sophia, before I let you go, where can people find you on social media? Because I know you got all sorts of content that you post. You got a great following. Like, where can people follow you on social media and keep up to date with your life?
Yeah, my Instagram, it's like Sophia with 2 A's and then _ Rodriguez with 3 Z's. But yeah, that's where
Awesome. Pretty simple enough. Sophia Rodriguez, really appreciate your time. Good luck at your state championship meets. We look forward to seeing you, hopefully, in Portland for Nike Cross Nationals.
Thank you so much for having me on. Thank you.
My thanks to Sophia Rodriguez for joining us on this episode of Pending Ratification. If you enjoyed this episode and want to listen to more, of course, you can subscribe and like on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and you can check out episodes on runnerspace.com and our YouTube channel. Of course, I am your host, Keenan Gray. This episode was produced and edited by Dakota Sorvillo. Be sure to tune in for the next episode of Pending Ratification.